Um, I wanted to say hello, everyone. Thanks for listening, and I hope that everyone has enjoyed their holiday or they are enjoying a safe holiday. Um, a new year is coming, 2018, and it's new challenges, new goals, new aspirations, new ventures, new avenues, new doors that could open for some people. And I've been working on a lot of things. Uh, I I am a person that lives in California, and I I I'm involved in education. I won't say what. I don't want to give too much away about myself. Some may know me, some may not even know who I am. But I do work with a lot of children, and that's why I was very passionate about some of the statements that I made, um, in terms of some of the things that I heard online in the community of African American peoples who are, inquiring about what goes on in different little smaller neighborhoods, and bigger neighborhoods. So I'm drinking coffee, but anyway, I just thought that I would share a little bit about some of the things that I'm planning on doing. For a while, usually how I operate is I usually think about something, and when I think about it enough, if it's something I really want and I obsess on it, that's probably something I'm probably going to partake in or act upon. And a lot of times, the things that I like are usually boring to other people. I like academia, I like uh, economics, um, political issues, reading books, novels, if they're good ones, of course. I had to throw that in there. Um, when people have seen me on the street, they sometimes will already refer to me as being an educator. And then some people will find me a little bit um, intimidating because they're afraid to speak to me, um, that they'll say the wrong thing. And some of that I find, um, I don't know how to approach that one. I think maybe they feel like I'm super smart or whatever, and so they feel like if they say the wrong thing, it may come off as dumb. So don't say that to her because that doesn't sound right. It doesn't make sense or whatever. But I never have tried to portray myself as better than others. I don't know. Maybe it's just the character of who I am or whatever. But I always say, as I've gotten older, I kind of like saying that now, as I've gotten older. I think it's a good thing. It's an achievement when you get older, because I lived in neighborhoods where people didn't make it to certain ages because of the activities they were involved in, the neighborhoods we lived in. I feel like I'm a survivor of a lot of things that have happened. I've lived in a couple of Black communities, and yes, I am African American, Black. Um, I've seen a lot of things that have happened. I've not been happy either with a lot of things that have happened, but I feel like this is a new year. And I know sometimes there could be new controversies in the new year, and I'm sure there will be. And even from even sitting here from now, there'll be controversies always, but there'll be good things that will happen also, that will come out of, sometimes with controversy, there are good things that will come out of those things. And unfortunately, some people have to suffer consequences of controversies, which is sad because this is the world we really live in. In reality, everybody always doesn't get treated fair, and life never really is fair to everyone. And it's unfortunate. And some people are hurt. Some people are in trouble right now. As we speak, there's somebody going through something that you wouldn't believe, and they don't know their way out, and they don't know who to talk to. And I feel like with the new year, there's new opportunities, there's new goals, there's new doors that can be open. And it may be to some of the people that I might be referring to, if it's leaving a bad relationship behind, or if it's going into a new relationship and meeting good people, surrounding yourself in a group of people who want to do things positive in life, and they have goals and aspirations that match yours. And so those are the type of things that I guess I'm talking about when I talk about a new year, 2018, and new goals, is to do things that are positive. And it doesn't necessarily mean for recognition. I notice that people are kind of caught up in, building a name for themselves and building a lot of recognition, a lot of fame and fortune. And there are some people who, believe it or not, they may be wealthy, or they may be fortunate in other ways and popular in other ways, but you don't really see those faces of those people. And I think I would be one of those people that would rather be that way. I don't want I don't want people to see me and say, "Oh, she's the first African American woman that did blankety blank 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 blank." Um, but deep in my deepest of hearts, sometimes I feel like there's a calling and a purpose for me, and I fulfilled a great portion of it already. But I feel like there's more to come. I don't know what it is, but I have felt in my heart that I have a lot to contribute in a lot of good ways to even help others. Um, Sometimes I feel that because because I sound different, or I seem to approach things in another fashion than others would, or what they would typically quote unquote sometimes people will believe some stereotypes. So there's a bit of truth that is stretched in stereotypes, and then some of it has some credibility, depending on the environment and culture and how people were raised. But sometimes I strike people as odd because even though I might have lived in certain neighborhoods, or may have not lived 100% in all those neighborhoods where people say there's crime and ghettos and whatnot, I've experienced some situations, but I don't portray myself that way or carry myself in that fashion. So when people hear me, and then when they see me, and then when they see how I am and my mannerisms, they are taken back, like, wow, this person's really, got a head on her shoulders, and she's level headed, and we weren't expecting, and which is sad. But when you see some of the people that are online and some of the things that they do and say, it makes people not really trust who they are, because they come off too aggressively. And a lot of times, in order to get things done, you don't always have to let that lion or lioness out. Maybe it's inside of you. There are other ways to let out your anger, or your, discord with things that are going on in the world, without putting fear into the hearts of innocent people, or people who are unsuspecting, not knowing who you are in character, what your true intentions are. And so a lot of times people have to approach things in a new fashion. And I've mentioned this a couple of times to a couple of other people on their channels, but it wasn't met with any criticism, nothing positive, just negative or ignored. And a lot of times it's because they feel like they're higher up or they're better than someone else because they have a lot of followers. And I noticed that when I'm on this site, I've seen some ridiculous, ridiculous um, channels where they say they've got 700 million followers. And I feel like what they've done is they type that in there to reel people in to get them to watch their channels instead of them just being simple and being honest and just showing whatever it is that they do and presenting themselves like normal people do. They have to showboat and kind of put themselves out there to be this, glamour, king or glamour queen. And I don't seek that kind of attention. I find that problematic in and of itself when a person seeks that type of attention because I don't feel like their agenda is sincere to do any good for anyone but themselves, and that's about all they're in it for is themselves. So with that, with new goals, a new year in 2018, I'm sure there are going to be some of those same people doing the same things. They're not going to change. But what I've been doing is, as like I said, I like academia and politics, and so I'm utilizing something right now where um, pretty much trying to get myself um, to, how would you say this, promote myself up in life. And things that I was afraid to do before, I don't have that fear anymore. So I wanted to get involved in investing. I've wanted to get involved in, you know, the housing market. I wanted to get involved in more education, but it would be for the basis of myself. It's not really to just go around and say, oh, I've got this or I achieved this and achieved that. It's more a goal of my own for my own intention. And I guess this is the lighter of the the few that I've already mentioned. Is I did want to look at my trying to get myself back into a emotional, what do you call, in shape physically and mentally, because this is a new year and there are going to be new avenues that I'm going to conquer. And notice how I say that I'm going to conquer. I don't say try. So I feel like I wanted to share that little bit. Um, Now, I know some people don't like, listening to the women's channels or the channels with the women who are, independent, or channels where women talk about some of the controversies that happen in the Black community and they have differences of opinion or they're oppositional towards certain things that people are doing. Um, I'm opinionated. I might be oppositional, but I really do commend people for trying, if they're really sincere, to make change. But when people aren't making change and they're just making trouble, I'm not really a fan of that. And I find that there's a lot of people that are into more making trouble than they are making change. And they're into blaming and name calling and belittling one another. And those are the people that you want to let go in 017, and in 018 you want to surround yourself with people who are more positive. Usually I cut people off, and I've learned that that is a healthier way of dealing with controversies and conflict with people who are difficult. I don't subscribe to channels where people are belittling people and calling people names and hurting people's feelings. And if they're, you know, calling people names to the point to where it's personal, like where they're pinpointing people, you know. If it's indirect, you know, like if there's naivety and stupidity because of innocence of just not knowing, that's a different story altogether. But if you're just blatantly calling, well, you're stupid, or you're this and you're that, I've heard worse. Those are the lighter weight words. I've heard words that are worse than that. I've heard people name call on YouTube and call each other the B word and F word and all kinds of words, and words you wouldn't even believe. And they'll post things about people that they don't like. And you know, I might have said some things about people that I don't really favor, take a liking to too much. But I think if I could really recall, I don't recall myself ever saying anything to the point to where I've threatened anybody, or I've made it to where the person, you know, there has been some people that have rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not going to say that it hasn't. But it's been a while now, so I've tried to put a lot of that in the past. I've tried to correct my wrongs and move forward. And you know, there are some things that I'm not that crazy about on YouTube. I kind of see why they are censoring or monitoring certain things because of some of the anger. You know, like people when they post videos of them committing suicide, that's sad. You know, I think people, that's what I mean by when I've said in the past that people take things too far. So those are the kind of things I want to put behind me. I have not really witnessed those videos. I know that some of those things might even still be up. I think they're supposed to take those things down once they discover it's real. You know, posting that, you know, when people post them killing someone or abusing someone, those are things you want to put in the past or you don't even want to think about. But unfortunately, we have that kind of stuff that goes on. It's sad. Um, I just hope for the new year that there are other people who have new goals, that it'll be positive, even for the Black community, even for other communities, that people will learn how to get along, that there'll be more people who will try to aspire to do better in their life, be more sensitive to other people's opinions, and not be as judgmental to the point to where that they're belittling each other and hurting each other's feelings and calling each other out of the name to make people feel like one is lesser than the other. You know, I feel like sometimes I've made decisions in my past that sometimes I wish I could go back and change those, but I learned from those mistakes. I feel like you learn from your mistakes, and sometimes things that happen in your past that are negative or bad, or maybe some of us can say that we made stupid decisions or bad choices, or we've been naive. We've been there. We've all been in a place where we wish we could change something about ourselves or something about a situation that may have happened to us. Um, a lot of times I find those growing experiences, you know, things that you learn from. Some people stay stuck and they don't know how to get out of those circumstances. They might be in situations that are more serious and require more attention and therapy, you know, if need be. Um, I'm just glad I made it this far. I, you know, I'm not rich. I don't have like millions of dollars. I don't have millions of followers. I know there are people online that, you know, they kind of hone in to people who have a bunch of followers, who are popular and who have a lot of money and a lot of popularity. And I never wanted to be any of those type of people. I feel like a lot of times people who want to be popular or they want to be seen by everybody, and that's their main goal. It's it's more for them, maybe who they are or whatever, their character, not really for the betterment of other people necessarily. Um, but anyway, this is a new year, new goals. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but I want to be able to be a better individual. I feel like every year I try to strive to do that within myself to be the better than I was before. Not make the same mistakes. If I made a mistake before, not make that same mistake, try to work harder. Um, Achieving goals that maybe I haven't completely accomplished. I do know I've become more persistent, things that I've wanted to get involved in. If I wanted to upgrade my credentials of whatever it is that I'm involved in, I won't say what. Um, I've wanted to continue and to pursue that. And, I've heard people say like a lot of negative things, like, oh, if people are smart, or, oh, if people got this, or, if they got that, and, or if they're, super intelligent. And sometimes being super intelligent doesn't require, people telling, oh, I've got this degree, I've got that degree. And, maybe about you're really well informed about a subject, but that doesn't make you better than the next person. That's the way I see it. And, I feel like everybody's human, and everybody is not perfect. And I don't believe that anyone is super intelligent than the other. I just think some people have a way of, studying a subject. And if they study it enough, maybe they're really well informed about it, and they have a lot of know-how about that subject. It's not like somebody else couldn't come along and do that. But if it's not their calling, or if it's not their interest, then maybe they don't know about it. Okay. But I feel like in this new year, 2018, I'm gonna do a lot of things, but it will be more for myself. Um, I, I've I've been hurt a lot by people, but I've learned to overcome that by not letting them dictate to me how I should live my life. Seen some of the videos, some of the things that are really, really bad that people put on here about, women, or about black women, or about whatever. And, if I, sometimes people will hear that. I have not been very crazy about that, but I don't let it stop me and my goals and from the things that I want to achieve in my life. Because somebody wants to marry somebody that doesn't, do or believe in a certain thing, let them do whatever they want to do. I can't make that person do something different. If, people find someone boring because they like to read, or they like economics, or they like politics, they like nature, they like, you know, investing, they like bettering themselves. If they think that's boring, then I'm not the person that you would want to be involved with, then I guess. But that's fine with me. I've been doing good being me. And I don't have a lot of craziness, a lot of drama. Um, and I know I can smell craziness quickly. When somebody is full of drama, I don't get involved with them. I stay far away from them and let them do their drama somewhere else. But anyway, with this new year, I'm glad that I've made it this far. I'm glad that I've gone to this length of time in my life and been able to, acquire the things that I've acquired. I've had some graduations, I've gotten some degrees in my past. Um, I'm actually using them for what they are intended. Um, I aspire to acquire more. education. That's I think I said that in brief, but it's not to try to look better than the next person. It's more for me. I kind of challenge. I have this thing where I challenge myself. I don't try to challenge others so I can make somebody else feel like they're lesser than me. I challenge myself to see what my potentials are and how I can actually accomplish my goals for myself and feel that I've accomplished it, honestly, without, wavering. And a lot of times it takes me sometimes time to achieve certain things, but I usually am persistent and I stay on task. Um, so there's a couple of things that I've been doing and I've been sticking with it and I'm proud of myself and I can pat myself on the back for that. Um, and then I noticed that I've stuff that has happened. I've heard things online people say, and I know a lot of it isn't true. When they say mean things, I just, I hear it, I disagree with it, but I know it isn't who I am. Um, what somebody says online about a particular individual does not ring true because they don't know every person in the world and they haven't had an experience with the right person. And I believe that's the reason why people will sometimes they'll vent. I've vented. I'm not gonna lie. There's been some negative experiences that I've had, but usually when I have like more than three, that's when it rubs me the wrong way. I try to like not repeat those type of things or not go around those type of individuals if I feel like there's a trend going on. I do notice that I guess I was behind the times. I really wasn't getting it until this social media had opened up a wider range of dialogue for a lot of people. And I started realizing, wow, there has been a lot of things that have happened that have caused people to be, you know, sad or to feel like, well, this is the reason why I can't, find good people to get involved with because they've already pegged me out to be this bad person because they've got all over the internet. Oh, don't go around these people because they do this, or don't go around this type of woman because she's this way. And so that is the reason why I really realize that there is power in words. And sometimes people can do things to damage people's credibility or to damage people's spirit. And sometimes things people say, people will believe it and run with it. And they won't even open up the opportunity to get to know people for who they really are as a person on the inside. And so I feel like that's the problem. That's the reason too why we have a lot of racial problems too, is because people don't get to know who people are, who they really are. They just kind of read something. Well, black women are this and black women are that, all the negative stuff. And then when they really meet someone and find out that that person isn't that way, they're shocked. It's because you actually got to meet someone and learn who they are for who they are as a person, not for the stereotypical stuff that you've read or what you've seen in a movie. And so this is the kind of stuff that I've noticed that has happened, and it's like a that I believe in it of itself is like a cancer. It's online, it's everywhere, and then people sort of hone in on those little things, and they say, okay, this is I already know how this person's going to be, um, and they don't even open up dialogue to meet the person, to get to know the person, to find out what their aspirations, their goals are. And so this brings me to this. There's been a lot of things that I've done to help people who don't have a lot of support. Um, I've helped a lot of kids learn how to read, learn how to do math, learn how to spell, learn how to do a lot of things that they were told that they couldn't do. And I feel good about myself because I did that. And that kid, I've had kids that have grown up and have seen me just in the stores. "I remember you, Miss So and so. You were such a good blah, blah, blah. You helped me." And that is where I get my strength and my credibility. It's not online to show off to people how big and how bad and how popular I am. I'm actually doing something that is helping someone, that's in hopes that someday that they can become productive citizen, or they can live their life and they're literate. And these are things that are positive, and I had something to do with it. And so I aspire to do more of that in the coming years. And so that's just a little bit of what I'm sharing about myself in terms of goals in the new year. And I'm pretty excited. And I know that a lot of people are excited, that they've made it this far. I hadn't really even thought about relationships, anymore. I used to think about that a lot because I used to want to have one, but now I don't even think about it anymore because I feel like I'm so busy, it would get in my way. But I tend to believe that usually when you're busy and when you don't really obsess on some things like that kind of subject, like relationships or people tend to come in your life when you're not even looking for it. And so I don't know in that area what would happen. I haven't completely closed myself off to it, but I'm not, I'm not feeling like I need that anymore. And I feel like when you feel like you need something, then you end up getting something you don't want. And so the things that I do like to do, I put my energies in that. And I put all my work or all my toil into that. And I put all my efforts into the positivity of creating positive spaces for children and doing the best that I can, be the best that I can. May not be famous, I may not be famous, but I feel like I've contributed a lot. And I do know a lot. There's some things I know that, some people don't even believe that I know, but I don't talk about it because I don't want to make some people feel like, well, wow, I don't even know that. So I don't know. It's just, I guess because maybe too, I, I'm really intuitive. Sometimes I'm really, how would you say that? I can just, sometimes I can just drive to a neighborhood and I kind of can get a sense of what's going on without anybody saying what's happening there. I don't know what that is, but I've been like that. I can kind of get a sense of, if there's positive goals, things that are happening, or if there's a lot of crime and a lot of despair. There's dreams that haven't been, fulfilled. But anyway, in the coming year, 2018, I wish everybody well. I'm going to cut this video off, and thanks for listening, and peace, and furthermore, accomplish your goals no matter what. Bye. Thank you.